After watching my guy Sanji get abducted in Zou, only one thought popped in my head. Oh, okay, it's Sanji's turn. But what does that really mean? We've been watching One Piece for the longest, and in One Piece, when somebody gets separated from the crew, it means we're about to get a deep dive into who they really are. Their flaws, their struggles, their secrets. I mean, it's not necessarily something new. We've seen it before. Nami's broken past, Luffy's recklessness, Robin's fear of belonging, Usopp's inferiority complex. But what is Sanji's flaw? Like, he hollers at too many shorties? I mean, come on now, that can't be it. The only other time that's been an issue is when he bled to death almost in Fishman Island. And even that was a pretty simple fix. This next arc that I'm about to get into in a later video, Whole Cake Island, is about to hit that exact weakness square in the chest. But if you've been paying attention since episode 20 when Sanji was first introduced, then you already know loyalty was never Sanji's problem. Sanji's loyalty was never in question, and ain't no wedding finna change that. And I mean from day one, Sanji, and okay, Zoro too, but this ain't about you, Bosshead, what are you doing? Has been one of the most devoted, consistent, and unshakable members of the Straw Hat crew. Even more so than Captain Luffy himself at times. Sanji flat out got kidnapped, and ironically, the only one that dropped a tear for him was his main victim. No one else was even pressed enough to ask what happened until much later. I mean, they was eating, storytelling, having a great old time. Because that's just how little they worried about the situation. The Straw Hats just trusted Sanji wholeheartedly. So before we get too deep into the whole cake analysis video, I want to shed some spotlight on somebody who deserved it a long time ago. This is a Sanji appreciation post that all started with a love letter from a lost pirate. If we're being honest, the spotlight is rarely ever on Sanji, somebody who's had sad backstory after sad backstory. But trust me, when he gets this shot, he shows up big. He's a Straw Hat Swiss Army knife. Need a distraction? He answered the call to Crocodile in Lowell Garden. Need a stealth operative? He snuck onto the Arc Maxim and sabotaged a god. Need someone to sacrifice for the crew? He literally tried to give his life for Luffy on Thriller Bark. And the only reason why he didn't do it is because the opportunity was taken from him. You need strategy? He was the first to come up with an escape plan for the rest of the Straw Hat Pirates immediately after getting kidnapped, captured on Zou. And don't forget, that letter he left to Luffy was for Luffy only. And you can make a very real argument that Sanji is the most important crew member to Luffy, considering his eating habits and all that. And speaking of eating habits, welcome to the Bread Show, a place where we give our anime and gaming opinions while doing a little bit of animated and gaming ourselves. I have been watching a lot of One Piece recently, and I just finished Dressrosa, and you should check out that video. Usually in between really big One Piece arcs, there's a little transition period of small little arcs in between. Not this time. We go from Dressrosa to Zou to Whole Cake. Things are heating up, and before I get to Whole Cake, I just gotta give an appreciation post to Sanji because he's really flew under the radar when it comes to the spotlight. And that was very purposeful. And I'm just gonna shed some light on how Sanji is one of the most important Straw Hats. Subtly though. Hopefully by the end of this video, I could convince y'all to hit that subscribe button. And also like the video because it really helps the channel out a lot. I'm not finna do the 30-second summaries of Zou, okay? I know people are gonna miss my 30-second summaries. I've been perfecting them. So yeah, no 30-second summaries of Zou. But I do think it's important to give a backstory of Sanji's character himself. There was an episode after Dressrosa that kind of went over everybody's dreams and everything. And that's very understandable considering that we are in the late 700s of episodes, but you can easily forget where somebody came from if they're part of the original 5 like Sanji was. A story that was 750 episodes ago. Sanji was a young apprentice cook on a ship when it was attacked by the pirate Zeph, known as Red Leg Zeph. During a storm, both Sanji and Zeph were stranded on a desolate rock with low food. Zeph gave Sanji all the food and secretly survived by eating his own leg. Now, I gotta pause here. In the manga, he lost his leg in the storm, saving Sanji. After they were rescued, Zeph opened the Barati, a floating restaurant, and took Sanji in as his apprentice. Zeph basically became a father figure to Sanji, teaching him how to cook and instilling the value of feeding anyone who's hungry no matter who they are. Sanji stayed out of loyalty until Luffy convinced him to chase his dream of finding the All Blue, the waters where fish from every ocean swims together. All of those details in that backstory show up big in talking about who Sanji is as a character, and I'm gonna show you how. In the beginning of me watching these One Piece videos, I can't lie, I used to struggle with seeing the value in Sanji's character. He was sometimes comedic relief, and he was always hovering around the third or fourth most important fighter depending on who the One Piece arc was about. But then after I sat down and realized, it became very obvious to me what his best quality was. Thinking on his feet. No pun intended. There's gonna be a lot of those in here, just letting you know. When chaos breaks loose and everyone else is frozen in panic, that is Sanji's time to shine consistently. He's not the strongest, he's not the flashiest, but when Sniper King was about to get obliterated by Jabra on Enies lobby, it was Sanji that was the Deus Ex Machina. And trust me, that's not it. Like I said before, sneaking onto the Arc Maxim and destroying their power system. Him and Chopper found Robin on Water 7 and they had one last conversation with him before going to Enies lobby. He was able to read right through Robin's cold exterior, giving hope to the rest of the crew that Robin's not doing this out of disloyalty, calming down the more emotional based characters like Chopper. Another moment of thinking on his feet and improvising, like I said before, was calling or picking up the phone, talking to Crocodile on Lower Garden. That was a crucial moment sprung onto Sanji that bought the Straw Hat Pirates time. And trust me, that's exactly what the Straw Hat Pirates needed, because they almost died on Lower Garden, if you remember. And even though the whole Zou operation was to kidnap him, he was the main strategist and leader of that group up until the very end. Personification of cool heads prevail. But the biggest example for me, and my favorite moment of Sanji being an improviser, maybe my favorite moment of Sanji ever, was during the transition from Water 7 to Enies lobby. While the rest of the crew is reeling from Sniper King and Robin being taken by CP9, ironically, that's what this arc is about. But anyways, while they were being abducted, Sanji goes off the grid, and no one in the story knows where he is until we find out he snuck onto the Puffin Tom alone. No plan, no backup, no grand announcement. The train was leaving and he had to get on it. With or without his crew, that was pure intuition and initiative. In that moment, while the Puffin Tom was leaving, he figured that if Robin was going to Enies lobby, she had to be on that train. While everyone was still processing what was actually happening, Sanji was already moving. I'm pretty sure this whole sequence was off screen too, like he was really on a mission. He didn't even tell the others because the more people that knew, the harder it was to pull off this stealth mission. A mission that could not be overcome with brute force. But he still found a way to kick the doors down. That's another. Mark it. While everyone else was still shaking, Sanji was already in motion. This type of initiative is rare in the Straw Hats, but very present in Sanji. Immediately putting his crew first, even the crew that wasn't even technically a part of the crew at the time. Dude's not just a cook, he's a freaking field operative when it counts. And that brings up another key characteristic of Sanji, his selflessness. His best moments complement everybody else in their best or worst moments at the time. Even down to his overall dreams, his version of the One Piece. Luffy wants to be king of the pirates. We know that. He says that at the end of every, he says that at the start and end of every, he says that at the start, in the middle, and at the end of every episode, and we're getting to like episode 800 by now. Zoro wants to be the world's best swordsman. Usopp wants to be a brave warrior of the sea. But Sanji, he wants to find the All Blue, a sea where all fish from every ocean gather. But Sanji's not into keeping fish. He's not into aquariums. He's a cook. He's not in it for fame. He's not in it for power. He's a cook. He's looking to literally feed the world with his dreams. He wants to cook better food for other people. We can look at his dreams and see where his true morals reside. And his future dream lines up perfectly with his backstory, at least the one with Zeph. He was stranded with Zeph, thinking that he was being punished because Zeph was withholding food from him, only to realize that Zeph gave Sanji all the food and left nothing to himself. As a matter of fact, in the anime, Zeph ate his own leg. He literally gave part of himself to Sanji, and that was a moral compass, a moral direction that stuck with Sanji throughout the whole show, with no buckling, with no anything. He's just been unwavering ever since with those same set of morals that he got from Zeph, to the point where he dreams of feeding other people. Those are his dreams. He adopted that moral for the rest of his life. Side note, who knew that a random pirate like Zeph would have a butterfly rollout effect on Luffy's life as the future king of the pirates? But yeah, this whole moment with Zeph defined his whole moral code. And Sanji's morals are the most stout and consistent of the crew. We get reminded of them the most out of anybody else. Sanji does not waste food ever. He does not agree with wasting food. He does not let other people waste food around him because he knows what it's like to starve. And he makes sure that everybody else around him never knows what it's like to starve. That's not just a quirk that he has, that's a moral principle. In fact, it's one of the strongest moral principles outside of Luffy's obsession with freedom, which happens to be the whole point of the show. He will feed an enemy like Jin on the Barity before letting somebody go hungry. He'll bleed before raising a hand to a woman. His beliefs don't bend, not even under pressure. And that's something that's been highlighted in the Zhao arc, and I'm sure it will be tested in Whole Cake. But it looks like, at least in that aspect, it's gonna be one of the easiest tests ever. The people that were around him the most, the people that hung around him the most, that lived with him, that achieved dreams with him the most, did not bat an eye at this whole situation that happened on Zou with him getting kidnapped. It's almost as if they knew this just as well as he did and just as well as we as an audience do. Sanji is loyal to the soul. So yeah, maybe now it's Sanji's turn. But the truth is, he's been sharing his turn with everybody else this entire time. It's just that now the world can't help but notice on a stage like this. Before we get into Whole Cake Island, before things get more messy and emotional and more complicated than it is already, I just had to drop this appreciation post for Sanji. It was one of the coolest moments ever when he wrote to Luffy, I'll be back. And watching that moment as an audience member, I fully believed him, just like the other Straw Hat Pirates did. And when I began to realize that it was Sanji's turn, I started to see for the first time in a long time how impactful a situation like that is. He's one of the original 5. The Barity situation happened in episode 20. He's been at this for a while now. Sanji, he's more than a cook. He's the crew soul when things get cold. He is the most dependable member of the Straw Hat Pirates. And next time in that Whole Cake video that I've been talking about, we're gonna see what happens when the unshakable gets shaken. And in the meantime, go ahead, check out all my other videos about One Piece, especially. I am watching all of One Piece, and over the past 4 months, I've had a lot of One Piece videos out for y'all enjoyment. And hopefully by now, I convinced y'all to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel out a lot, especially if you like One Piece, because there is a lot more One Piece coming. And if you like those videos, there's a whole bunch of other videos for you. And if you like all those other videos, check out the streams. I'll be streaming games, tier lists, all of that with me and usually somebody else. Usually from the 4th Branch, which is a gaming channel that I have with me and my 4 other friends, and we all play games, party games and all that other stuff. Cut up the streams, do never before seen stuff. We got IRL, we got gaming on there, we got everything on there. So yeah, consider checking out that channel. In the meantime, I will be finishing Whole Cake Island and working on that video. And yeah, everyone back at home, throw some on the grill for my man Sanji, man. Underappreciated, but never duplicated. You know what I'm saying? Spread love, give inspiration, and all you do, hold the door for somebody, praying for God's blessings on all of y'all. Peace out.
Welcome to the Show. Take 2.